Okay, so we're setting up the turntable for taking the QTVR 360 pictures of the garment. This is the turntable. We'll be putting it on the floor in enough room away from the wall in order to hang a backdrop and make sure that there isn't a fold, that it's a continuous line behind the turntable. So what I'm doing now is taping the pedestal down so that it doesn't slide when we put the turntable onto it. Normally when we have a floor that we can use a screw on, there are holes to secure it, but since we're on tile, we're just going to be using tape. When you're putting down the pedestal, you want to make sure that you have a center line. We're using the tiles as our center line. This is going to be the center of the turntable, and in order to keep the picture straight, you want to have a direct line from the camera to the center of the turntable. Okay. So this part is a little tricky. We have to get it onto the pedestal. And the easiest way I've come to do it is just to grab onto this as it's going down and kind of lean it into where it's going. And then slowly set it in. Yeah, it's always good to make sure everything's working before you put a dress onto the platform.
Very good. Okay, so now we have a rack in place to support our background paper. And Charlie is taping down the wheels of the rack so that that does not move once we get it positioned.
So what we've done is draped the backdrop. It's very important to make sure that the angle here is not too severe in either direction so that it kind of disappears in the picture. We've also covered the turntable, and for our purposes we've used this nice backdrop paper so it matches exactly. We've also tried black velvet and other curtain materials. So it kind of, whatever works best at the moment and for the garments that you're photographing.
We're going with the gray this time because what we found is that light objects photograph better against something dark, and dark objects photograph better against something light, and so the gray, this is kind of a medium gray that hopefully will allow us to be have a consistent background that will work for both dark and light objects. We'll see how that goes today.
So, in the process of taking the photographs, we realized that the edges on the platform were not quite as aesthetically pleasing as one might hope. So we took some black gaffer's tape and just went around the edge and left a little bit of a gray lip on the top, just to have more conformity from the platform to the paper, and also to hold the paper down better. And as you can see, it's much prettier. So now we have set up the camera on a tripod, and it is directly on the center line coming from the center point in the platform. The camera is connected to one of the lights. The other light will be signaled from the infrared of the first light to go off. For the dress that we're photographing right now, we've decided to stagger the lighting a little so that there is one coming at it a little bit higher and another coming at it pretty much level. What we've done so far with the dress is we've put it in the center of the platform on the center point of the mannequin and the center point of the turntable matching up. just to get the lighting set, we have started with a frontal view of the garment so that we can see what the lighting looks like. We're going to start taking some test shots and see what alterations we need to make to have a more even and more clear shot of the garment.
Okay, so we have started doing our rotations, and I'm just going to show you about moving the turntable. So you'll notice, if you look very closely, that on the bottom of the turntable are these little green pieces of spike tape that are marking our different angles. Okay, and we have our center line right, where am I pointing with my finger? Can't find my own finger, right here. Okay, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to match up. I'm not getting a very good angle of it. Okay, I'm going to match that up.
Oh no, it's the one next to it. Went over.
This
The
one?
other way.
No, this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Thought I was going too far. Okay. Okay. So, and it's a little, the tricky part is kind of from which perspective you're lining it up. And if we had a better system, we'd actually have something that touched down to the floor. But it looks like it's a little off through the camera, but as I'm looking at it straight ahead, it looks like it lines up. So, there we go.